If you ignore the 6 tips I'm about to share with you, it will be the reason you lose millions of coins on FIFA 23 during the easiest time to make coins this year. So, in this video, we're going to be covering 6 points. Each point is going to tell you what you're doing, how to change it, and how to make coins. You do not want to miss these. So, let's get into them. Number one, starting at the basics, make use of everything, whether it be big or small. Small decisions like when you apply items, sell items, can make a massive difference. Even when you buy, if you're buying in the hype and the peak times, this makes a massive difference. So let's look at how this can work. When you start, you're going to get given contracts and things like that. And if you open packs or you trade or SBC, you're going to receive consumables along the way. Consider what you do before you sell them. If you're going to sell them, great. Cash in, you get your coins. But make sure if you're cashing in, you're using them coins to invest and turn into more. If you're keeping them to use, obviously you're saving yourself down the line buying contracts. If you plan on using a team for a long time and you get that rare contract, it can go quite a long way. This being said, it also applies to kits, badges. Make sure you get your value out of everything. Don't have a club full of stuff. You want lots and lots of things gone. Just sell it. List it at minimum if it's not selling for anything, and hopefully someone will buy it along the way. If not, it can end up back in the club, but there is no point having an empty transfer list. Always have items that you have in your club selling. Just quickly, before we go further, if you can make sure to hit the subscribe button, comment down below what you want to see, I'd really appreciate it. Let's continue. Step 2, using your coins wisely. So, just because you've got loads of coins in the bank, say you have 100k on day one, just because you've got 100k does not mean you should invest 100k in a player or just one player to flip. If you think you can make 10 to 20% on that individual on a slow flip, and you can do 100k coins into loads of different small flips and do 10 to 20%, but multiple times in that same speed, you're going to make more money and a lot less risk, unless the opportunity is just far too good to actually miss. Like if you think about it, if you spread all your investments into multiple different things, you're spreading your risk. But if you get that one opportunity that's too good to pass, like a snipe on a very expensive player that you can quick flip for a lot, or you know a player will rise, so you manage to get a Neymar on day one for like 100k, and you know full well he's going to be 300 plus, that type of thing, or an Mbappe. There's at that early game, you can pick up some bargains that will increase, but spread your risk. Don't put it all in one. It can go very, very wrong. Um, Icons can usually be flipped on day one, but and along with like higher tier informs and special cards, because obviously there's not a lot on the market and people don't have the coins, so they're quite low at first. People want to get that coins, but then as coins increase, then prices go up. But it's hit and miss. But I prefer smaller investment in spreading my risk. That's personal preference. Number 3, how much did you spend on your starter squad? Whether you use FIFA points, whether you don't use FIFA points, it comes down to the same thing. If you're watching this, you're wanting to trade. That's the logic of it. You're sitting here going, I want to make coins. So realistically, why are you putting your entire budget into a team? Why not use that money to trade early? Get as much going as possible. Build a bare minimum cheap team and grind from there. It depends, don't get me wrong. What do you enjoy? And this is the whole thing people have to remember. Are you a passionate trader? Is that what you care about, making coins? Or do you want to play the game? Play actual games and get your rivals rank up? Obviously, it depends. You've got to consider it for yourself. It's up to you. Personally, I will spend the bare minimum on my team, probably have a gold non-rare team that I snipe. So I'll probably snipe a starting 11 from probably the Premier League, and then I'll trade. And every time I trade up X amount, I'll invest a little bit into my team. Because what my plan is I won't play a game until I've got Peter Crouch. That's the dream. But my idea is completely different to anyone else's. So I'll have as little as I can in my team, and then I'll be going for the big kind of amount. So I've got to just grind and grind and grind and grind. That's what I'm doing. Budgeting for your team is essential. You really need to think about what you want to do, because if you overinvest and them cards crash, you've got a very expensive team and it's not worth it on day one. You're better off having like a cheap team whilst everyone else has got a cheap team and go from there, unless you're really looking to push in the league rankings and things like that. And then obviously you're going to want to smash out the best team you can. Step 4, lazy buyers. Everyone always thinks about selling to a lazy buyer. No one ever thinks about being a lazy buyer. Don't do it. Take them extra few seconds. Go on the market. Maybe try snipe a little bit beforehand. Just do everything you can to save them extra few hundred coins. And when you're listing cards, if it's not a rush to sell them, list for an hour a few hundred coins above. You'll appreciate them few extra hundred coins coming in, or when you're buying a player, appreciate them extra few hundred coins staying. It is so important to spend that extra time and look after your budget. Changing squad or changing players and when to do it. Right. The reason this is so important is because when you think about it, EA take 5% of your budget every time you sell cards and players. So if you're 100% invested in your team, you lose 5% of your money so quickly. It's costing you a huge amount. The longer you have your team, the less likely you are to lose because you're going to make money over that long period or the more you play with them. This is why it's so important, depending on what style you want to play and how you want to do things, with what you decide to keep. So, how often should you change things? It depends. If you're happy with your team, why are you changing it? That's my first question. The way chemistry is this year, it probably is going to vary how people squad build. So, if you're building bit by bit, you're doing position by position, and unless you hate a player, they're not going. And you just slowly upgrade, making sure you're selling as you go. Don't have players stuck in the club. Don't make rush decisions on your team. Just make sure you're aware of what you want to do and you're happy with what you're doing. And the final step is decide what you want to do with FUT. So in FIFA 23 Ultimate Team, what do you want? What is your end game? If you want to be a trader and you want to get, or primarily trade and make a load of coins, only invest a small portion, 10 to 20% into your team. Because you're going to want them coins loose in order to invest, in order to flip, in order to trade consistently. What do you want to if you're a player that wants to kind of push, but you're not really an elite player, you want to do a bit of trading, a bit of playing, maybe do 30-40% into your team. If you're a player that's pushing on elite and then you're pushing like high rivals and you're trying to push higher and get to the top, why not do 50, 60, 70% into your team and trade with the remaining? Obviously, you want to trade if you've got this far in the video. Also, if you have, please do make sure to like and subscribe. But there's two very different or there's multiple different types of people on FIFA and Ultimate Team. There's the one who wants to play, there's the one who wants to trade, and then there's the one that really does want to trade. So the one that just wants to play, doesn't care for trading, will do little bits and bobs, make a few coins maybe. The one who wants to trade will probably play the majority of the time, but trade a bit and do some small investments just to try and make some extra coins to improve the team. And then there's the one who wants to trade and they go in big. There's a difference between being happy bringing in 300k over 2 weeks and being happy over kind of 600k, 700k in a week. It's very different for each person, and it depends where you are in your FIFA cycle. So they are the 6 things that you need to do in order to make sure you don't lose coins on FIFA 23. Let me know what you think down below. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you at the next video. Cheers.